unveiling Machiavelli's dark truths on human nature. Welcome back to another dive into the minds that shaped how we see the world. Today, I'm zeroing in on Niccolò Machiavelli, that Renaissance thinker from Florence who shook things up with his raw take on power, people, and politics. We're talking about his books like The Prince and Discourses on Livy, where he lays out some unflinching ideas about what makes humans tick. And yeah, we'll connect the dots to how those ideas still echo in our everyday world, from boardrooms to global affairs. I've been poring over his writings and some solid breakdowns of his philosophy, and it's fascinating how his observations cut through the fluff to the core of why we do what we do. Let's get into it. Before we dive deeper into Machiavelli's sharp insights on human nature, just a quick note. If something here clicks for you, maybe a raw take on power or a timeless quote, please share, follow, or subscribe to keep the conversation going. Your support means a lot and helps bring more of these thought-provoking episodes your way. First off, picture this. Machiavelli wasn't spinning fairy tales about noble heroes or perfect societies. He was a diplomat who'd seen the gritty side of Italian city-states in the 1500s, full of betrayals, wars, and shifting alliances. His big insight: humans aren't wired for constant goodness or loyalty. We're creatures driven by our own needs, quick to change sides when it suits us, and always chasing security or gain. In his view, any leader or system ignoring that reality is doomed. He pushes for a realistic approach: look at people as they are, not as we wish they were. That means crafting strategies around self-interest, fear, and adaptability rather than blind trust or high ideals. It's like he's saying, if you want to build something lasting, whether a state or just your own path in life, you've got to play the game with eyes wide open to these truths. Now, let's unpack the meat of his arguments, pulling straight from his key works. Start with The Prince, that slim but punchy guide he wrote for rulers. Machiavelli kicks it off by classifying different kinds of states: hereditary ones, new conquests, mixed setups, and how to hold on to them. But the real gold is in his breakdown of human drives. He argues that folks are fundamentally selfish, always putting their safety and stuff first. Greed is baked in. No matter how much someone has, they want more. Untrustworthy? Absolutely. Promises get broken the second they're inconvenient. He paints us as ungrateful, fickle, liars, deceivers, cowards in the face of danger, and hungry for profit. That's not him being dramatic. It's from watching real history, like how Roman leaders or his contemporaries flipped allegiances. In The Prince, he gets practical. A ruler can't rely on people's affection because it's flaky. Better to instill fear, but not hatred, since fear keeps folks in line without backfiring. He says you might have to get your hands dirty, use cruelty if it stabilizes things, deceive when honesty would sink you. The famous line about ends justifying means comes from this: if the goal is a secure state, the path there doesn't have to be pretty. He even advises blending animal instincts: the lion's strength for force, the fox's cunning for dodging traps. Adaptability is huge. Rigid goodness leads to ruin in a world full of wolves. Then there's fortune, which he personifies as a wild force, like a river in flood. You counter it with virtue, that mix of skill, foresight, and boldness. It's not moral virtue. It's effectiveness, the ability to switch from kind to ruthless as situations demand. Shifting to Discourses on Livy, Machiavelli flips the script a bit toward republics. Here, he's commenting on ancient Roman history to show how group dynamics play out. Human nature's still the same, selfish ambitions clashing everywhere, but in a republic, that conflict can be a strength. He sees tension between the nobles and the common folks as fuel for growth and liberty. Laws and institutions channel those ego clashes into progress, like how Rome expanded through internal checks rather than one-man rule. Unlike principalities, where one guy's virtue holds it together, republics spread the load, making them more resilient. But even here, he warns, without strong arms and discipline, it all crumbles. People need compulsion, laws, military training, even religion to act right. In The Art of War, he extends this to battles, stressing citizen armies over mercenaries because hired guns are as fickle as anyone, driven by paychecks not loyalty. Diving deeper into the themes, Machiavelli's whole philosophy hinges on this egoism. We're all operators, motivated by desires that often screw over others. That's universal, he says. Human nature doesn't change across eras. In politics, it means power isn't about being nice. It's about coercion and smarts. A state survives by reshaping folks through fear or incentives, turning raw self-interest into stability. But it's not all doom. He sees potential for improvement. Good laws educate toward better behavior, like in republics where free speech and participation temper the worst impulses. Conflict isn't just destruction. It's creative, pushing societies to adapt and thrive. Analyzing this for our time, it's wild how spot-on it feels. Think about international relations. Nations annex territories or quash resistance not out of malice, but to secure their hold, mirroring Machiavelli's advice on new conquests. Leaders mask intentions, use fear of external threats to unify folks at home, or blend force with cunning to navigate crises like pandemics or economic shakes. In the free market world, that Machiavellian trait, manipulative, cynical, shows up in cutthroat climbs up the ladder, where folks exploit alliances or deceive for advantage. Social media? It's a playground for fickleness. where image trumps reality and self-promotion rules. But Machiavelli warns against overdoing it. Push too far into hatred, and you lose everything. His realism critiques blind optimism. In a hyper-connected era, ignoring self-interest leads to naive policies that flop. Yet, blending his pragmatism with modern ethics like human rights or cooperation could build more durable systems. Republics, with their built-in conflicts, remind us that diverse viewpoints foster innovation, countering pure egoism with collective checks. Still, his cynicism highlights risks. Unchecked ambition erodes trust, turning societies into battlegrounds. It's a lens for understanding why scandals erupt or why power grabs happen. Human drives haven't evolved. Let me hit you with some standout quotes to let Machiavelli speak for himself. From The Prince. One can say this in general of men. They are ungrateful, disloyal, insincere, and deceitful, timid of danger and avid of profit. Love is a bond of obligation which these miserable creatures break whenever it suits them to do so, but fear holds them fast by a dread of punishment that never passes. Boom, that's his human nature in a nutshell. Another, it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Cuts right to leadership's tough choices. On adaptability, the successful ruler is the one who adapts to changing times, and that wild one on fortune. It is better to be impetuous than cautious, because Fortuna is a woman and it is necessary, in order to keep her under, to beat and maul her. Raw, right? From Discourses. Enmities between the people and the Senate should be looked upon as an inconvenience which it is necessary to put up with in order to arrive at the greatness of Rome. Shows conflicts upside. And, there cannot be good laws without good arms. I will not consider laws but speak of arms. Prioritizing power. Wrapping this up, Machiavelli's works are a wake-up call to face human flaws head-on. If you're curious about power dynamics or just why people act shady, grab The Prince. It's short, sharp, and timeless. Pair it with Discourses for the fuller picture on societies. In our world, these ideas push us to be savvy without losing our compass. Stay undeceived. Stay free.